like to ask you some questions about the 70s decade.
Okay, sounds
So,
good.
first of all, what's your name?
My name is Marva Jackson,
When were you born?
September 27th, 1953.
Where did you live during the 70s?
I lived in Bessemer, Alabama, which is within the Jefferson County District.
Okay. There were several things happening in politics during the 70s. Richard Nixon was president and he was involved in the Watergate scandal, which eventually led to his resignation as president. Would you share your thoughts about Richard Nixon and him being allowed to resign as president as opposed to being faced with impeachment charges?
Okay. Richard Nixon was, to me, a very fair president. Although my preference is Democrat, he was Republican, but he seemed to have been very fair. And until the Watergate scandal, and that brought on a big change in our country, Mr. Nixon, if he had only been fair, things would not have escalated to the point of impeachment. He didn't have to make those decisions. But as far as impeachment versus his resignation, I prefer resignation because impeachment really destroys a person's character. That's what I think. And I think that's the reason he decided to resign, because he was an upstanding man and he didn't want to go through that impeachment process.
Okay. The economy of the 70s was very unstable. The country was going through the great inflation and the energy crisis. How did these things and the economy affect your life or your friends and family's lives?
Actually, in the 70s, I happened to be very economically stable because I was married to a professional baseball player in 1975. So it did not affect us at all. However, it did affect some of our family and a lot of our friends because they were not financially stable. And of course, whenever money is being taken out of your pocket for any reason, it will affect your family. It will affect your food, your support, period, your support system. So that's why that's what I would conclude with that.
Okay. Well, the 70s was a time of technological growth. The pocket calculator was invented in 1973. The Atari 2600 was released in September 1977. Also in 1977, Apple Computers introduced the Apple II, which was one of the first successful home computers to be able for people living into the houses.
Wow, that's very good.
And they also had a medical advance with the first test tube baby being born on July 25th, 1978.
Yes.
So, how did the technology of the 70s change or affect your life?
Oh, it affected mine drastically, especially on my job. I was hired at Blue Cross and Blue Shield as an admission clerk back in the 70s. I think it was 73 when I first went to Blue Cross.
Okay.
And doing an admission clerk, what I had to do was collect admissions, which was our clients, and I would have to record it with pen and paper. That sounds funny, but that's what happened. And when they brought in computers, man, that really made a big difference. We were able to go paperless with the enhancement of the computers, with the implementation of computers. We did go paperless, and you save a lot of money because that's paper that we didn't have to use, and that incurred a lot of expense for the company. So I really enjoyed that process because it saved the whole company money.
I'm sure.
And
time,
yes,
too.
and time too. And therefore we could we had more customers. You know, we could take care of our customers in a more efficient way.
And I'm sure it allowed your company to grow.
It did. Growth.
Okay.
Yes, it did.
Society was changing in the 70s. People were becoming frustrated with the government. There was the Equal Rights Amendment. It was developed. Affirmative action became enforced. And people began protesting the Vietnam War, which ended in April of 1975. There was the Kent State shootings which was a result of the protests for the Vietnam War. During the Kent State shootings, 4 students were killed and 9 were wounded by the National Guard. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Kent State shootings, and do you think protesting is still relevant in today's society?
Okay. The Kent State shooting. Violence is never an answer to anything. I feel that a person should be able to express their personal opinions in a more peaceful way. And that should not have happened to those people, because that's not the answer. And of course, it is still relevant today because people still have their opinions. And you're not just going to go along with whatever. So the best thing for you to do is to protest. Just again, that's really to give your opinion and to express your opinion on different issues.
But it should always be
And
done
It should
non-violently.
always be done in a peaceful manner.
Right.
And we don't have to worry about all of that. Because why would you have to express your opinion in fear for your life?
I agree.
Yes, because retaliation will come, shootings will come, but that's nonsense to me.
Okay. Yeah. The 70s was also a time of fun and entertainment.
Yes. Those were the good days, we called them.
Yeah, it wasn't all boggled down with politics.
Yes.
So what were some of your favorite movies and songs from the 70s?
Okay, some of my favorite movies were Exorcist. We loved that. It was kind of fearful at first, but once you watch it a million times like we did, it was okay. It became okay. Jaws. Oh man, that was very exciting because I had gone to Universal Studios in California, and we really saw how Jaws were made.
Yeah.
So I got real interested in that movie, and I had to watch it multiple times also.
Did you know, just a fun fact, that back in the 70s, the price of admission to Universal Studios, because it opened in the 70s, was $3.50.
$3.50.
Yes, ma'am, and now it is approximately $105.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
Oh, man, well, that's how the economy, what can we say? But we always got in free because of my husband's playing with California Angels.
Okay.
Our admission was free, so
good.
that was a plus for me and my family.
One of those economic pluses.
Economic pluses,
Okay.
yes.
So what were some of your favorite songs from the
And
70s?
some of my favorite songs, number one is Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On. That was my favorite, the Jackson 5, ABC. And who else was that? I'll Be There. That was another one. Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, Stevie Wonder. I had a lot of favorite songs. The Commodores, they made a million songs, but I love Rick House.
Okay.
Because I thought that was me.
Oh, okay. All of the songs that you listed were hits, so.
Yes.
Okay.
Movies and songs.
What were some popular dances and fashions from this 70s decade?
Dances, we did the hustle, soulful strut. I know you don't know what that is.
No, ma'am.
But you got plenty of exercise because it was a lot of movement in that dance. And we had a dance called the Continental.
Okay.
And it was what you call today line dance.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a very exciting dance. And the mashed potatoes.
I have heard of that one.
Yes, yeah, we did that. And a million more. But that's just to name a few.
Okay, well, what about the fashion?
And the fashion, our hairdo was big afro. The bigger the better. We had our afros. And we had the hot pants. And I used to wear my hot pants with go-go boots.
Oh.
I had a purple outfit. I had the long jacket, the hot pants, and the white go-go boots.
You were a
So I was sharp.
Okay.
Yes, and we had the platform shoes, the hip hugger pants. I mean, all of these are coming back now, believe it or not.
They are. I've heard several of those.
And we did go Western sometime with the jean and cowboy boots.
Which they still do now, too?
They do. Everything's coming back. It is.
Okay. Well, several major events happened in the world of sports and entertainment in the 70s. Could you tell me about some of your favorite sports and entertainment news from the 70s and why you enjoyed it?
Okay, number one was my favorite and that was in baseball. And of course, I am a baseball fanatic because that was my source.
Okay.
My economical source. Yeah, so Hank Aaron, he did break Babe Ruth's record, and that's his batting record. Yeah, I forgot what it was, but that was a great thing for me.
Okay.
Arthur Ashe, I love tennis because when my husband was on the road, we would always play tennis because we had to get that exercise. So Arthur Ashe won the Wimbledon at that time, and also boxing.
Okay.
And the reason I like boxing was because when we were young, we only had one television in the house.
Okay.
And guess what? Whatever your parents watched, you watched.
So you had no
So
choice.
I had no choice but to favor whatever my dad watched or my mother. So he loved boxing, and we never missed a Muhammad Ali match.
Okay.
So during that time, Muhammad Ali defeated George Foreman. And man, were we happy. That was the greatest time of our life because he took us to McDonald's.
Okay.
Oh, that was funny. After each fight, he would always take us out.
Okay.
He didn't take us to McDonald's in the 70s because we were okay then.
Okay.
But we would always remember going to McDonald's after a match. Yeah, so we love sports. I'm from a sports family.
This has been very enlightening, and I would like to thank you for allowing me to interview you today. I have learned a lot, and it has been very insightful. Thank
Well,
you.
Okay, and thank